Miriam Makeba. Miriam Zenzi Makeba was born in Johannesburg, South Africa in 1932 to parents Caswell and Christina Makeba. During the time of her birth, the country was facing an economic depression and apartheid. At the age of 18 days, Makeba and her mother were in prison for illegally brewing beer. Her mother was only trying to make sure that her children had food to eat. In 1948, South African Prime Minister Daniel Mallon made segregation legal, which was oppressive to the South Africans in their own land. Makeba's father moved their family to Prospect Township, which is located just outside of Johannesburg. The township was run down without electricity and mostly populated with poor people. Makeba's father died and she began to work to help her mother support the family. Shortly after, she was sent to live with her grandmother in Riverside, Pretoria. Music was Makeba's love from a young age. Singing is what she used to escape her harsh living conditions. Music was also her ticket out of poverty forever. She was first known for her singing at the Methodist Training School in Pretoria. In 1950, at the age of 17, Makeba gave birth to her only child, a little girl named Bonji, with her first husband, James Kube. Shortly after becoming a mother, Makeba was diagnosed with breast cancer and her husband left her. She survived the cancer diagnosis through treatment from her mother. Later that year, her life would change forever. Her musical career began as a singer with the Cuban Brothers, and in 1954, she began singing with the Manhattan Brothers, a popular jazz group in South Africa. She also appeared on a poster for the first time in her career, which helped boost her popularity. She would later begin singing with an all-female group called the Skylarks and recorded over 100 songs with the group. 1956 was the year Makeba released her song Pata Pata, which became a hit and made her a household name. In 1957, Makeba embarked on an 18-month tour as a solo artist throughout Africa, and in 1959 she married South African singer Sonny Pile. That same year she made a cameo in the South African anti-apartheid documentary film Come Back Africa, which was directed by independent filmmaker Lionel Rogelson. The film made its debut at the Venice Film Festival in Italy and won the Critics Award. The film and the award helped Makeba not only become a star in South Africa, but she was becoming an international star. Later that year, she would gain a lead role in the musical King Kong, and she made her debut on The Steve Allen Show. Makeba traveled to London to work with Harry Belafonte, who mentored her early in her solo career. Belafonte helped Makeba enter into the United States and become successful. In 1960, Makeba returned to South Africa to attend her mother's funeral. She also learned that her passport was no longer valid and she was placed in exile. Later in 1960, Makeba released her first studio album, Miriam Makeba. 2 years later, she and Harry Belafonte would sing for President John Kennedy at his birthday party in Madison Square Garden. In 1963, she released her second studio album, The World of Miriam Makeba, which reached number 86 on the Billboard Top 200 charts. Later in 1960, Makeba testified in front of the United Nations against apartheid in South Africa. To show that they disapproved of her actions, South Africa revoked Makeba's citizenship from her homeland. Guinea, Belgium, and Ghana quickly offered Makeba international passports along with 7 other countries, where she became a citizen of those countries. In 1966, Makeba and Harry Belafonte received a Grammy Award for their socially conscious anti-apartheid album, An Evening with Belafonte and Makeba. She was known for not wearing makeup and wearing her hair natural, which made her the predecessor of the natural or the Afro look. In 1967, her song Pata Pata became a hit in the United States 10 years after its release in South Africa. She married former Black Panther and civil rights leader Stokely Carmichael in 1968. This caused much controversy with record labels in the U.S. Makeba's record deals and tour dates were canceled. This was her record label's way of showing her that they disapproved of her marriage. Makeba and Carmichael moved to Guinea, where Makeba would live for the next 15 years and was appointed Guinea's delegate to the nations, and also received the Dag Hammarskjöld Peace Prize in 1986. In 1990, Nelson Mandela was released from prison just before his 70th birthday, and South African President Frederick Willem de Klerk reversed the ban on the National African Congress. Mandela would convince Makeba to return to South Africa, and she was able to use her French passport. She would later record her album Eyes on Tomorrow with Nina Simone, Dizzy Gillespie, and Master Caleb. Gillespie and Makeba would travel the world promoting the album. Makeba even appeared on The Cosby Show, Olivia Comes Out of the Closet, as well as the movie Serafina. In 1999, Makeba was nominated for the Goodwill Ambassador of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United States. In 2000, her album Homeland was nominated for a Grammy Award. She also worked with Garka Machel Mandela, South Africa's First Lady, to combat HIV/AIDS, child soldiers, and advocate for the physically handicapped. In 2008, after a performance in Italy, Makeba suffered a heart attack and never recovered. In 2009, singer and songwriter Angelique Kidjo honored her with a show titled Homage Miriam Makeba. From the time she was a little girl, she left her mark on anyone she came into contact with. She used her platform to help fight apartheid and injustice against the people of South Africa. Miriam Makeba, aka Mama Africa, will proudly stand on your shoulders. For more information, please visit www.ontheshoulders1.com.